Once again, a very good morning to one and all gathered here. A very good morning and welcome everyone for the ADAS show. This is Anchor Raj Ramsagar, your host for today's exciting journey into the world of ADAS. Let's start the show with the keynotes. I'm requesting our speaker, Mrs. Ujjwala Karle, Deputy Director, Technology Group, ARAI, to inaugurate this show with her keynotes. But before that, let me introduce in brief about our speaker. Mrs. Ujjwala Karle, Deputy Director, Technology Group, ARAI. Holding 30 plus years of experience in the field of automotive, electric and electronics controls development, evaluation and implementation. Leading technology group and digital twin lab, ARAI, focus providing engineering solutions for Indian mobility, CASE. Leading a team working on emerging technologies including ADAS, autonomous, EV, HEV, RESS, AI, ML and data analytics. Ma'am, we are requesting to inaugurate this show with your keynote. Please, over to you.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Right. It's always good when we receive something, right? Okay. I'll start with my, many of you must have heard my presentation, particularly a lot of people who have heard. I'm not talking something new. Whenever I talk at us, I can't resist myself to talk this only first, and then we can go more and discuss more details about it. I think it's a good gathering today in Bangalore, where software is a key. A lot of OEs and tier ones from Bangalore are supporting ADAS developments in India. And what that means is what I'm going to cover. The topic that I'm talking today is Drive in India with ADAS. So why we are talking Drive in India with ADAS is something we will discover over time. This is very famous and favorite of mine where I always talk. You heard in my details about me also. When I talk about it, I always talk about Indian mobility case for tomorrow. So when you're talking globally, we always talk about case as connected, automated, shared, and electrified as a case where when it comes to India, this connected, automated, shared, and electrified changes to Indian case, which talks about connected to address our challenges of the road traffic jams, which we are talking about. It's not automated, it's more about affordable and accessible for the people commonly there. Third is towards driving safety, which is key for all of us, which will be talking today. And the last E is not only for electrification, but it is for driving environment-friendly solutions as well as driving towards energy security of India. So this is what the Indian mobility case talks about. And today we will talk about the third part, which is S, driving safety with ADAS. So when we're talking driving safety with ADAS, see, it starts with the number of accidents and number of accidents deaths in India. We all must be knowing, we see, with the COVID days, we were sitting at home for 1.5 years. Still many people will be there working from homes, becoming a standard practice, of course, to take care of the road traffic jams also. But where the COVID has given us 1.5 lakhs plus deaths in 2 years, what really the road traffic gets us to? Pre-COVID days, the traffic death number officially was 1.5 lakh deaths per year in India, whereas this number has gone up to 1.68 lakh deaths last year, 2023, not even 2024. We are yet to get the report of 2024. So that's the key challenge that India is facing, to have improved road safety. And while doing so, is it possible that ADAS can solve these solutions? Do we have possibility that advanced driver assistance systems, why we are saying it's a driver assist, the interesting fact that or a stats that I would like to give to you is, when I'm talking about 1.68 lakh deaths happening because of road traffic or road accidents, it also gives the stats that more than 80% accidents are because of the driver errors. See, when we're talking about driver errors, we have contradiction to say that actually the human drivers are the best drivers in the world, because human can have cognitive response, how we can really take the situation and handle it. But then also we are talking the deaths are or the accidents are because of the human errors. So what does it really mean for us is the human is the best driver. However, momentarily, it loses its either ability to get decisions without lack of data, or some diversion, deviation, or the challenge in actuation part of it. So, can advanced driver assist systems help us to take these decisions in terms of providing information, processing information, giving alarms, and sometimes even actuating it on behalf of us? So it is a co-driver. Have you tried actually learning a vehicle with a co-driver and running on the vehicle first time going into traffic? And we are confident that we can control the vehicle because someone is sitting behind us. According to me, ADAS is nothing but that co-driver for us, or a vehicle which is going to help us to take decisions and avoid the situation or a situation which can arise a challenge while driving. So these are few, I can go more in details why this, how these are important. These are few features, what we have seen, these are very important and are coming up in India as key differentiator features. And very different way of looking at it is, we always say technology is driven by regulations. But it's not the case here in ADAS. You must have seen a lot of vehicles coming onto the road with the ADAS features, and there is not yet regulations published. And it's more a competition to have the features installed and coming onto the road. But then we have to be really looking into how useful they are, how calibrated they are, and how it is meeting our requirement of a co-driver, co-pilot to drive the safety. So when we are talking about ADAS, we always know India is different. Why India is different? Our use cases are different. Why our use cases are different? Our traffic is different. Our road reaction, road driver behaviors are different. The way, the type of traffic that comes onto the road is different. The environmental conditions are different in terms of we have overexposure of sun in some cases, the temperatures are high, the rains are high sometimes, the clogging on the roads are high sometimes. And then we have fog. In Delhi fog conditions, even the flights can't take off, and then how our vehicles are going to run. So these different conditions need to be addressed. If we can address those conditions, then only our ADAS solutions are going to be useful for India. And that's what I'm saying, drive in India with ADAS. So drive something which is solving our India-specific challenges is something which is important. So what we are looking at, how can really we empower these ADAS solutions in India? How can we support to make these solutions successful in India? And this we have looked into a program called Swayamgo though. Swayamgo, it's again look into it. It's a combination of indigenization and globalization. Swayam itself, go is going. Swayam is a Sanskrit word or a local word here, and go is autonomous, representing well with the global meets the local solutions. And these are three branches or three arms that we have to look at it to. We have to have India-specific data. If we don't have the India-specific data, it's going to be challenging. Because then can my camera understand what's the local scene here? The local changes that we talked about, Indian animals, Indian human beings, Indian road conditions, Indian traffic. So creating those India-specific use cases or India-specific data is the first arm. The second arm, of course, is when we talk about technology is global, the solutions are local. Can my technology, a unique technology, solve our India-specific challenges? So can the same technology be adopted to solve our challenges? Can it be different? Can it be simplified? Can we really solve our challenges by tinkering this? So it's more innovation, driving our solutions to solve our India-specific challenges. And the third one is, does it suit for India? Somebody has to really look into it. Let it be a global player adopting their solutions for India, or can be an innovator or a local player here driving the solutions not only for India but for globe. We have to look at, does it suit for India? And does it suit for India? Always talk about virtual and experiential verification and validation of the systems. So again, you look into this pyramid, what it talks about. It's a global practice. This practice or this method has been very well discussed globally under GRVA, what it's called. It's a global regulations, the way it is approaching. But the methods can be used, but the data has to be ours. The use cases has to be ours. And that's where the virtual and experiential verification and validation is very key to drive ADAS in India successfully. And to this, only this bottom part I'm just expanding to have integrated approach. Integrated approach with 4 ways: creating India-specific data, convert into digital domain. It's a world of digitization where we have to convert the data into digital domain, get the right data, use it for entire domain of simulation, what we call XIL. So XIL, it could be HIL, actually it starts with MIL, SIL, or HIL, and then further go into driver in loop systems or vehicle in loop systems, or further take some part of it to go to the physical level validations. And the 4th module is talk about vehicle testing. So when we talk about vehicle testing, it's not only the regulatory vehicle level testing, it is also having a testing, creating India-specific use cases. What is India-specific use cases? You know, ADAS, something very commonly being used is AEB, very common. So AEB is automatic emergency braking system. So when what we have to say is, something it says, it automatically brakes. It doesn't depend only on a driver to take a decision, it automatically brakes. Now, have a looked into the Indian use cases, oncoming traffic from the other sides. How my AEB is going to work, how it is getting calibrated to work in that environment. Across traffic environments, which is not a conventional only cornering cases, but also in midst of a road, somebody crossing the road. How these things are getting handled, which are India-specific. You will not find a person half crossing and standing in midst of a road for the crossing next without any signs. How it's going to handle? There are different, not only animals, but I think different carts around, looking at what are my side scenarios coming into. My VRUs or vulnerable road users are not only normal pedestrians, but a cart drivers or a bicyclist or a scooterist with a different trajectories altogether. Oncoming reverse traffic where it is not supposed to come also. So all these needs to be solved and needs to be created. And how it can be created, if you see the last module, is creating a scenario. Ideally, I should test a vehicle in Bangalore city, in Pune city, in Delhi city, and validate it. But then I can't create. This will take a lot of time, and I cannot create a scenarios the way I want. They will randomly appear. So can I create a city for us, which can be really handled? Film city dekhte hain. So can we have, and this is what the thought process which is put forward in module 4, which is India-specific city. India-specific city which can have different type of signals, different types of speed breakers, different type of traffic scenarios, different linguistic signs to understand, because we have different languages also. So can this be really programmed to create an India-specific city? And that will be a real field of validating ADAS parts. And that is how the integrated approach has been looked into. So this is something which I looked into, creating synergy or synchronized data with respect to all sensors that it can go, annotate it to create a data which is very specific to India requirements, digitize these scenarios and connect it to the global platform with connectivity with something like ASAM open drive scenarios so that it can really connect with there. So it's a mixture, a proper approach to go to global to local part of it. Then you can see how this India-specific, can this real road data be converted in digital domain? Can I get Bangalore-Chennai road in the simulation so that a peak hours can be converted? Look at the bottom picture there. So how it can handle. Can I have a point cloud data converting? Can I have a lane marking digitally done, where we have a lot of things where we do not have lane markings on the road? How my lane keep assist system will work? How my lane keep warning system work? So this is how this creating data and converting scenarios will work. And this is overall agenda of simulation integrated, called it Exile. How my data is coming? Data is coming from real world, standard test, customized test. And the fourth thing which is missing here in this is actual accident data, which has happened in India. So we can reconstruct the accident data, now pre-project how it would have behaved and convert into the scenario, which has created an accident, and can find out whether this accident can be saved by AEB, by having maybe blind spot detection, what all could solve this challenge, and what is the right answer to solve this challenge. So real accident data goes also as an input to the dictionary, and these test cases can be run at different levels. And when we come to a physical level testing of these vehicles, you can have a demonstration. I think today whole day is packed with the actual demonstration that we have, where we have people who have globally come as a solution, local people who have driven the solution, and the testing methods with ARAI, how ARAI supports in testing and validating for global standards, local use cases, and part of it. So the concept here is, on the left side, what we call is extract. So extract is something, go anywhere and test your vehicle, and validate your vehicle. And where? With global standards, global parts, as well as local parts. We have local dummies, which we are developing, like cows, dogs, three-wheelers. How my vehicle will respond to these dummies also will be considered as, can be validated with these parts. And this is a smart city vehicle level system, what it will cover, what all indigenization you can have. You can look at it and what it can be added to. And ideally, if you look, there will be infinite use cases and infinite indigenization it can happen once we have the roads and different parts of it. Few of the things I have highlighted here, but please give inputs if you think this is more important for our conditions. We'll add and try to create more modular, more respective ways of handling it. And this is something you can look into. I don't know how my videos are going to work. Okay. How actually the vehicles in the field are working. Different vehicles, create a benchmark, find out it is. Second, how global Euro NCAP testing can be done. How commercial vehicle testing can be handled. The bottom down there is a complicated Indian scenario which can happen with multiple people or multiple stakeholders actually coming into the picture, and assessment analysis part of it. And this is how actually ARAI, with this background, ARAI has come with a center of excellence with ADAS and autonomous vehicles. This is the thought process, how ARAI looks into anything which talks about skills, enablers, regulation, infrastructure, so that ARAI acts as an enabler for the entire ecosystem for it. And you all are requested to get connected with ARAI team to be part of anything that you want to be, any additional requirement that you have been. And let's all work together to create ADAS as a success story for India. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation, Mrs. Ujjwala Karle. I'm requesting Nabeel Ahmed to honor our speaker with a memento, please. And yeah, it is open for you also. If you have any queries or the questions, yes, of course, it's open for you to ask.
यार मेरा सिविल स्कोर इतना लो क्यों है?
Is requesting the event attendees, if you have any questions or the queries, yes, it is open. Yes. Mic, please. Here.
Hello. Hello, madam. Hi. Good morning. Yeah. What's the role of ARI currently in create? It's not audible. Okay. What's the role of currently? I think India is we are creating Bharat and Cap protocols, right? What's the role of ARI in terms of creating Bharat and Cap protocols for the particularly ADAS? If you see Indian scenario, as you explained.
So I can only tell you that currently we are working on Bharat NCAP 2.0, so next generation, wherein ADAS will be part of it. So we are working towards it to create Bharat NCAP 2.0 right now. Okay. Already the work is ongoing.
How different do you think it will be from Euro NCAP?
Oh, it will be different. See, basic features could be there, but the use cases will be different. And that's what we are looking into, how we can localize it to have our own use cases.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
Hi, good morning, ma'am. I'm Ishan from Euromotoco. Thank you for the presentation. It is very nice. So I just want to know about data you are collecting.
Yeah.
So is there any data collection for blind spot detection? Because
Blind spot detection.
Because in the roads, many of the accidents are causing due to blind spot detection, like bike couldn't able to see the car or car couldn't able to see the bike.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yes, we do have some blind spot detection data also. But again, when we are doing about blind spot detection, it's more towards the bigger vehicles or the commercial vehicles, which has more challenge in looking and around it. So that is 100% there. We are also looking with different people, understanding actual blind spot onto the cities. See, there are normally blind corners and blind spots in terms of infrastructure. So that is also being looked into and connected and communicated to people.
And ma'am, one more point. This data is being shared with MORTH or Ministry of Road Transport and
Okay,
Highways.
there are different models of doing it, how we are doing it. Some few studies are being shared with MORTH also. Not the entire data. This particular data, what we are talking about, a synchronized data, is more useful for ADAS to train the models and understand the parts also. So as ARAI, we do a lot of other data collection also. Actually, we do the data collection on the road surfaces, actually the challenges on the road. So we create a road which can be used for designing a vehicle by itself, vehicle dynamics experiences. This data for machine learning and applications, and the data which is useful for the ministries to take decisions or the inputs to improve. So all these kind of a data is shared.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Vivek Dhawan. I represent Omega CK Mobility. We are a three-wheeler EV manufacturer. So I have two questions.
Yeah.
One is, India as an ADAS industry. So what kind of level 1, 2, 3, 4, so we are capable of doing, right? That is number one.
Okay.
And secondly, how do you see the regulations getting framed in this direction by the government in maybe on a short term or a long term basis?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. I think many cars you could see level 2 already inside. It's easy to call level 2 or level 1 or level 2.5 or 2 plus, what we call, to be coming in. But I feel the features has to be adapted for the Indian use cases is the key part of it. If the same function calibrated for India will have a real impact for the Indian users or acceptability by the Indian users. We don't want systems to be only for the sake of having ADAS and then switching off when it comes to road. So it's not a case. It should be calibrated for Indian use cases is something what I look into. And that will be happening. Coming to regulations, I think ADAS will go beyond regulations and that it has started showing up that. See, regulations many times would have synchron. See, Bharat NCAP 2 is different. But the regulations for the certifications might be in sync with the European regulations the way we are doing it. Already these regulations are published, not even notified. But I think one regulation is in a draft standard, but all other regulations are published, not yet notified. But they will have quite a good synergy with the European regulations. But that is not going to be enough for us to have a successful introduction in the market. And that everybody knows, and that is where we look into entire verification and validation beyond only regulation.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Hi. Do
Talking
we
about
have
the
any
We'll
timeline?
wait for a minute. He's just asking.
in your presentation, you were mentioning about the number of accidents and deaths happened in Indian scenario.
Yeah, yes.
So, is there any system to do an understanding why that accidents happened and what kind of systems would have avoided that? So, if we do a kind of a understanding that particular scenario, and out of this ADAS, then we can see which can be more appropriate for the Indian conditions. Is there any platform to do a kind of a study on that?
That's right. It's, you may be aware that on the accident data, see, India is really huge and a
Huge,
challenge.
yeah.
Getting actual scientific data of accidents is a real challenge. There are people and some MORT has created a platform called IRAD along with IIT Madras, where people can put a data and create some information. But however, that data is not much yet publicly available. We are also struggling to get data. Of course, they are trying their best and creating that part. There is a private consortium called RASI Consortium, you must be aware of that, which does this data collection of accidents. Right. And then all private people do the assessment and analysis for it. That's where I think it's a good way. People do have an analysis of RASI data and do present it at different levels. People do privately also some data collection on accidents and present analysis. We are trying to be more formal, trying to collect data from different sources, including RASI, and work with a lot of OEs also, and tier ones, reconstruct accident data, create a scenario, and then apply it. That is what we are working currently in Bharat NCAP 2.
It is basically simulating that.
Absolutely.
But I am just thinking like a black box in a flight. So after something goes wrong, at least you will take that data, what makes that goes wrong. Something we can bring that in the mobility level.
So you want to call something like a e-call system or a black box and e-call system? Currently the regulation is not there. People are using few data by themselves, but there is no mandatory requirements at this moment.
Correct. I am putting a thought.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
The important part there is a back-end connectivity. Somebody can collect data, how well it is connected back, and that framework is very important. And it should be really worked at the national level to create that back-end environment. Right.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. Please continue. With that, we'll move on to the next
Maybe last,
segment.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, last question.
I'd like to know about adoption of AIS 189 and any timeline for release of the standard. Yeah. Yeah, correct. It's in the draft stage currently, but okay, understand. Okay.
Ma'am, one last question, a very important one. Is there any thought to get some sort of ADAS in two-wheelers?
Of course.
Because that's the most wrong side driving just cutting into the lane, right, with no regard for whoever it is. I saw some millimeter wave radars for motorcycles here today. That would actually cut down the accident rates drastically if there was some regulations for two-wheelers.
See, I again will tell you, ADAS or ARAS, I call this as ARAS, Advanced Rider Assistance Systems. Again, if you look into a very conventional systems which will not work, even for two-wheeler. Like you try to look into a lane keep or only AEB part of it, how it can be really adapted for two-wheeler with a low cost is very important. And that's where the entire innovation for India will be driving ADAS or ARAS for that matter. And that's the way I believe when it is innovation driving the systems, it is very difficult to have the regulations first. See, regulations can come to the systems which are already established or coming into the phase of establishment. So I believe ARAS should be driven in the innovation way. And I will request all the stakeholders to really come forward and put up your heads and find out how well we can do. I've been working with ARAS systems, working with different OEs and tier 1 suppliers. What are their ideas? Create a brainstorming workshops around it. So I'm open. If anyone is interested, please connect back to ARAI. We can have more workshops to find it out how it can be synergetically working it further. Thank you.